Let's go talk a little bit about history as far as when you were growing up and after you got married and stuff.
Okay.
Besides World War II, because we already talked about that, what important historical events do you remember living through or even being a part of?
No, gosh, I don't know. Nothing really. I didn't have a very exciting life.
Well, what about the area here? What do you remember about big things that happened in Battle Creek? Changes that happened?
The mall out there. We used to just shop downtown.
Well, we used to live in a township here.
Okay.
And the city annexed us into the city, which was, to me, was a poor for historical event. I did not like it. Still don't, matter of fact. But I don't know.
Well, you had Korea, you had Vietnam.
Yeah.
What about when they walked on the moon? What do you remember about that?
Well, about the time they done that, I bought a television so I could watch it. I do remember that.
Did you buy it so you could watch it, or
pretty much? Yeah.
Okay.
Remember that?
When was that? That was 60 what? I don't remember, and I should know.
I'll bet it was in the 50s.
Was it in the 50s?
No.
I can't remember. Well, I've been in the packing room.
Well, who was the president then? Wasn't it? Gosh, was it Kennedy?
That'd be the 60s.
Well, who?
Johnson?
Truman. Because Roosevelt died.
Roosevelt, Truman, Eisenhower, Kennedy, Johnson.
Yeah, Eisenhower was 50 what? 3, 4?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Now you said earlier that your family really didn't talk politics growing up. Is that something that you kind of stay the same with?
No.
No, I'm a little different.
Are you?
Yeah.
What got you going into that?
I don't really know. I'm a conservative guy, and
Right.
That's basically where I sit, and I don't move.
Well, that's made its way through the family tree.
Yeah.
My mom followed in that, and so have I.
Yeah,
My side was more that way.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We've seen 2 new high schools built here since we lived here. And what else? Seen Kellogg's build many times over the years, and then end up tearing a lot of it down. Automated buildings.
Are they still kind of they're the main big company in the area, aren't they?
Well, not anymore. They only hire about 500.
That's how many they've got there, or that's how many they hire?
That's how many they got, period.
Hmm.
Hourly people.
Okay.
And back when they hired me, they had 4,300.
Is that just because of a lot of automation, you think?
That one building does more than all the other buildings they had all together.
When did that change? When did they put that new building in?
Well, they built that building. It was under production when I left.
Okay.
20 years ago. But it was just the first year or so into in running it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I used to haul cases in there for it.
Okay.
That was my job, semi them in there. They'd order them and we'd haul them. But that plant runs more production than, they had 3, 5, 3, 2, 5, 17, 80. They had about 6 production buildings, and that one there outruns them all.
Huh.
All automated, everything.
All the automated lines.
Sure.
When did RJ start there? Did you ever work there while he was working there?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
we were.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We worked in the same building.
Did you ever work directly with each other?
No. He was in carton and container, and I drove semi, and I hauled stuff that they was making.
He was involved in making the packaging?
The cases. He had a corrugator.
Really?
Yeah, he was an assistant corrugator operator.
I never knew that.
Didn't you?
No, because I worked at that packaging company. Making boxes and partitions.
That corrugator they had was longer from here to that house.
Oh yeah, they're huge.
Maybe twice that long.
Yeah. See, we didn't have a corrugator where I worked, but we got all the sheet stock in and ran them through the presses.
Yep. They, oh gosh. I can't tell you how many feet a minute that thing run, but boy, it
A
hung.
lot.
I mean, they could make flat stock,
Mhm.
sheet paper, sheet cardboard, cut it off to size, and pile it. Well, man, they work your tail off.
Oh yeah.
Then they run her through a printer slaughter, you know what they are,
Oh, we had some.
and print them and notch them out and crease them so
Mhm.
they fold. You know all about that end of it.
Yeah. We had our big press was a folder or a printer slaughter. We had
And
a
a taper?
we had a rotary die cutter. We had a couple tapers and a stitcher.
Okay.
We had a flexo folder gluer. It would print, slot, and fold and glue it all in one shot.
Okay.
And we had a small printer slotter. And then my area ran like we ran the partitions. We had a slotter
Okay.
and a slitter and a couple of saws and that kind of stuff. Ran some of the chip, which is like the heavy paper.
Well, those printer slaughters will kill you. Them suckers.
You get someone that can run one,
Oh,
and they'll bury you.
well, them guys, they was kind of rebels up there in that place where we worked.
Okay.
Where I never worked in there. I did in the winter a couple of times.
Okay.
Just filled in sometimes because I knew a lot of jobs. But they used to have a couple of guys that run them printer slaughters, and it was a 3-man crew, a 4-man crew, and one guy, they'd rotate all the time. One guy take a break and 3 guys would run.
Okay.
Well, Carl Plone, his sister, lives right behind me.
Okay.
But Carl, big old German guy, him and his guys, they got along really good, and they'd run that sucker wide open. I mean, wide open. And they'd get way ahead. They'd shut her down. They'd all take a break.
Yep.
Well, they got a new boss, and he said, "You can't do that." Oh, yeah, we can. We've been doing it for years.
Mm-hmm.
He made a bad mistake on them guys.
They probably turned it way down.
Oh, they buried him. They buried him. And it didn't take him too long, really. He ought to stay in the office more. Because them guys would put out if they leave him alone.
Yep. Yep.
And this guy here wasn't smart enough to figure that out for a while.
See, I had a Bosnian gal that worked for me, running just our slaughter. She, smaller stuff. Oh, that's your...
Yeah.
I thought that was the camera. But, it would take, something that's 7-8 inches by 30 or so.
Uh-huh.
Up to, sometimes it'd be like 20 by 20. But she'd just run it through and it would put slots in it. And we'd make partitions out of it.
Okay.
And I figured out if I just left her alone and let her do things her own way, there wasn't nobody that could keep up with her.
But don't mess with her.
Don't mess with her. She'd sit there and I mean, every once in a while I'd fill in behind her just catching. And I'd be taking armfuls, like I'd scoop up about 2 feet high all at once and just throw it in the pile to stack it up, when I turn around it's already full again. As fast as I could go, she'd put it right there. But if you messed with her and tried to tell her how to run things...
Well, Kellogg's, the federal government, was responsible for this. They told Kellogg's they had to hire so many minorities for supervision.
Oh.
Well, so they got women, they got black women, black men, minorities. And we got this black guy, and he was dumber than a whip snake. I'm telling you, he was so dumb. I felt sorry for him. And I run that line over there for 26 years, the same one.
Which one was that?
It was a special K line, family size.
Okay.
And I'll be honest with you, I used to get a lot of sleep. I had a workbench. I had an outside line right next to the outside wall.
Okay.
And the mechanics had a workbench here where, if they had a breakdown, they'd work at that bench. And whenever they was going good, I just put a clean piece of cardboard on that bench, and I'd sit up and lean against the wall, and I'd nap. But if that line made a different noise, I'd wake right up.
Okay.
You know. Well, one day they got this guy over there for boss.
2 o'clock.
And
Bye.
I was running a different line that day. They had my line down for some reason. I was running another one in there, and I was sitting in one chair, and I had my feet on another chair asleep. And he come by there, and he kicked that chair off underneath my feet. And I said to him, I said, you ain't really too smart, are you? And he looked at me, and I said, where'd you go to college? And he told me, and I said, they didn't have a course in common sense there, did they? Because if they did, you missed the boat.
I haven't found a college with that course yet.
Well, so I screwed him something terrible for 3 days. I mean, my line of production was. And after 3 days, he came in there with a white hanky, and he said, I got some common sense. He said, I know what I've done wrong. Done straightened him right up, boy. Yep. He learned quicker than I thought he was gonna.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was something else.
Well, Aunt Jenny wanted me to wake her up at 2 because she goes for her lessons during the day, and then she comes home, takes a nap before she has to go to work.
Is she working there too?
No, she's working right now. She's working for the cleaning company yet.
Oh, okay.
But she's hoping she'll get in there.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
fire away.
What do you? What was retiring like for you? Was it something you looked forward to?
Well, yeah, I pretty much planned my retirement. I always told her that, because I had a lot of seniority, and the way the game was played up there, if you had to be 55 years old to start with.
Okay.
And they take your age and your seniority, and it had to come up to 85 points.
Okay.
But the bottom line was you had to have 30 years to get all your benefits, but you had to be 55 years old.
You had both because you started.
I had it all. I had 90-some points. and I told her for a long time, I said, when I kind of had a money figure in mind, and I said, when I get 55 and the money's there, I'm out of here. Well, 55 come by, and I guess mentally I just wasn't ready to retire yet.
Okay.
You know, you gotta be, things gotta be right up here. You ain't gonna be happy when you go out of there.
Right.
So, but they kept offering me buyouts, you know, this attrition thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And every time they'd offer me a buyout, it was in November, every blessed time. And then if they give you $12,000 to get you out of there, and you add it to what you earned all year, then your taxes are way up high.
Right.
So finally, they offered me one in April, and I said, "Yep, this is the time. I'm out of here." And I worked till that Friday, and I'm done. But just like I told the guys, I'd go back up and see them. They said, "How you like that retirement, you know?" And I said, "If I'd have known it was that much fun, I'd have done it sooner." But I've never ever been sorry I retired young, ever.
How old? You were 50?
About 56.
56. Okay.
And so 20 years went by.
Yeah.
At least I had a few good years on my feet, you know. It's more than a lot of guys get when they work too long.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So what do you feel about? I mean, what do you do with your time now that you're retired?
Sleep.
Not
Sleep.
much. If my back was better, I'd probably do a lot of stuff, but my back won't let me, and I do what I have to do, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know when you were younger, you did a lot.
Well, I used to work night and day. It didn't bother me. I'd
Yeah.
work 8 hours at Kellogg's and 12 hours at home.
According to this, your dad was only 64 when he died.
Probably.
Now you said your dad isn't the dad that left when you were real young.
Uh-huh.
How did you end up getting back in? Did you ever get back in contact with him?
Really, he left in 1933, and Gwendolyn died in 39.
Not 39, not Gwen.
Gwendolyn, excuse me, Elizabeth, never came back to that funeral. And then Betty died in 1949. That's the first time I ever seen him. I was 16.
Hmm.
Didn't even know him.
Did you guys know where he was in that time? That
I
he
never
was?
really checked in. I really didn't care,
Okay.
you know.
Right.
But then when Gwendolyn died, he came to that funeral. And I don't know what year it was.
He stopped at the house.
Yeah, I can't remember. I'm going to say 55 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, he had sugar and he wasn't even supposed to be driving because his eyes were bad.
Oh, yes. Diabetic.
Yeah, diabetes. But I come home from work and he was in the house, but his car was in a drive, and he was wanting to put flowers on Gwendolyn's grave, but he couldn't find it.
Mm.
And he wanted to know if I'd take him over to the cemetery and show him where it was, and I did. And he came back and he left and never seen him again.
Hmm.
Till he was dead. But so 3 times.
Okay. Now, did your mom ever remarry?
Nope.
Nope.
No.
Was there someone that was kind of a father figure to you growing up?
Yeah, she had a male friend, and he wanted to marry my mother, but she wouldn't do it. You know, I mean, her first marriage went poop, and I suppose she was afraid to try it again. I don't know, you know. But Harold was a big old heavy-duty guy. He's quite heavy, good-natured, smoked cigars. But one time Betty and my sister and I had measles, mumps, and chicken pox. Bing, 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 right down the line. Hooked right onto each other almost. And it was hardly a day go by he wouldn't come out there in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd always bring us some all to do every day from Sullivan's. Yeah, but Harold was a good old boy. He was about as easygoing, nice a guy you ever want to meet.
Hmm.
Yeah, Ma would have done well if she had married him, I think. But, no, Harold was a good old boy.
Now, what did he do for a living?
He was, he worked in the powerhouse at either Battle Creek Sanitarium or maybe a cookie company downtown. One, I can't remember for sure. But, you know, they had their own generators and they generated their own power and made steam and all that stuff.
Okay.
But he worked in the powerhouse.
Did you stay in touch with him for a long time?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. But his mother was an old lady, and he lived at home and took care of her till she died.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, getting back to the retirement, how many, I guess part of retirement is, how many grandkids do you have altogether?
14.
14. Got 4 from RJ, 4 from my mom, or 3 from RJ.
Yeah, 3
4 from my
RJ.
mom. Don's got
1, 2, 3.
3.
We actually, the adopted one, kind of.
Right. Okay. Do you, and I guess most of us are kind of older now. But what do you like doing with your grandkids? What sort of things?
Not much anymore. We just go watch a few football games and band things and
How about?
And they hunt with me a little bit.
Yep.
And that's about it.
How about when we were younger?
Oh man, we used to go down to school play ball. Oh, there wasn't hardly a day went by when we didn't go down to school play ball.
Okay.
I was one of the big kids there was.
What sort of things do you hope to pass on to your grandkids? What kind of lessons? Oh yeah.
That's the one.
That's the picture.
Yeah, I looked at that picture and I
This is
said,
his
my
dad.
hair never was ever that black.
His grandparents. His aunts.
Right there.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Okay.
I got some oldies of him that he looks more like. Or you would
So your
look
dad
more-
came from a pretty big family too. Now is this? My mom has a picture hanging up with the old
That's Grandma and Grandpa.
sitting in a rocking chair and a
Mullenix.
couple kids standing behind him.
Could be.
I think that's probably the same because she never seen the other, well, unless it be Aunt Ruth.
Yeah, that could be.
It could be Aunt Ruth too.
This is his Grandma and Grandpa Mullenix. Would be your mom's great and your great.
Okay.
That's the only grandparents I ever see.
These
Right
two.
there. Yeah, on my mother's side, they were past dead and gone.
See, wasn't he nice looking then?
Yeah. Yeah, you can really see 'cause RJ. I'm trying to get a good picture of it without the reflection. You
Used
can
to-
really see some of the family resemblances, though, like Don and Jordan, RJ and Aaron. And
Used to be that my
Andy,
brother
Alan.
Yeah.
looked a lot like my dad,
Mm-hmm.
but now me and my brother look somewhat alike.
I don't know. He's got a real fat,
Yeah.
square face.
But this guy was one shifty dude right there.
Is he the one? I've heard my mom talk about someone in your family that they thought was in the mob.
Well, he's running whiskey.
Oh, okay. So that was during Prohibition.
Oh yeah,
Is that was your dad?
yeah. These people's name was Kniestrik, and they lived right where we did over there in Springfield. My dad was a good mechanic.
Okay.
Auto, anything with a gas motor in it, buddy, he could fix her.
Hmm.
Well, he run the garage up there. He had a garage, and he done all of Eaton's and all of Eaton's and Clark's, all their vehicles, road vehicles. He's the guy that took care of them, that fleet.
Okay.
And dishonesty, how it got me lost them. But anyway, they used to play cards with these people, them Knistriks, and just friends. And one day, my dad disappeared, and so did his wife. They gone. But I think somebody was looking for him because the Knistrik is making whiskey. My dad was delivering it.
Okay.
And he probably shafted somebody. They gonna kill him probably. I'm guessing. I don't really know.
Man.
That's something we never found out about. But
Yeah.
it looks a little that way because he was not too honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, we'll go back to that question. What kind of values do you hope get passed on to your kids and your grandkids
Well, I think probably
and great grandkids now?
I like to see people work and take care of their responsibilities.
Mm.
That's where I was raised. Took a while before we figured out. It all comes back sooner or later.
Yep.
But I think that's a real important thing.
What's that?
working and
Oh.
taking care of your responsibilities.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but also teaching them
Well, there's not a
about
lot of
God. Hope they're all saved.
You
This
know,
is his dad.
there's a lot of people now that don't want to take care of their responsibilities.
that's for sure.
Wow.
That's Aunt Ruth and Uncle Walter's anniversary. That's your mom.
What's that, Ma's retirement?
No, Aunt Ruth and Uncle Walter's anniversary.
My mom.
Was that
She
75
looks-
years? 60 years?
Wow, look
Don.
at that. Yep, and I see RJ over on the side
Yeah.
there.
Does that say on the back, Odin?
I don't think I got a year.
Aunt Ruth, Uncle Walter, and grandkids.
Well, that was before Jenny, so
Yeah. So my mom would have been probably 5 or 6 there.
could be.
Well, I would say that it was probably
That-
60, 65
Because
years. wasn't it?
she looks a lot like my kindergarten picture there. Or I should say, my kindergarten picture looks a lot like her there. You can say it the right way around, I guess.
See, Aunt Ruth and Uncle Walter was married. They were married in 1910. I know that.
And that's their 50th. So
Maybe
1960.
Okay.
And,
All right.
oh, wait a minute now. Oh, the other picture. It was 64 because I was
Okay.
pregnant with Jenny.
Okay. Well, RJ looked like a real little gentleman there, didn't he? Is that Donnie?
Yep,
Oh my gosh. And there's that Jonathan
probably. Well, the little one's
and
Mark.
Betty with no teeth.
No, it is not.
Betty's teeth are gone. These are the front ones.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm thinking. She's probably 5 or 6 there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because she's 7 years older than Jenny.
Well, let's see, Chalmer, Uncle Walter's only son, that's his son.
He's the one that you were talking about was in the Army.
Yeah. And this guy looks similar to his dad.
Okay.
Of course, his dad, I never seen his dad when he had
He's the
hair.
one
His
with the heart
dad's hair
condition.
fell out when he was about 18.
Okay.
And I think Gordy's bald today.
Yeah, you can see RJ's got that mischief in his eyes.
No, I guess.
Well, when he was little, he was in everything.
He wasn't bad, though.
No.
Not really. He's just lively.
My mom told me a story about him one time. One of the neighborhood kids threw a sled and hit, I don't know if it was Don or her, and RJ went over and popped him, broke his nose, or broke his thumb when he punched him.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
that was that
right.
Richard White.
Yeah.
Uh,
RJ, and someone said, you're not supposed to hit people with your thumb like that.
he broke his thumb.
What was? We can back up there a little bit too. What were RJ and the kids like growing up? What were some?
RJ was a handful but I'd take him like that when they're little because he was best when he was a little bit bigger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Josh is quite the handful now, but he's
just lively.
oh yeah, he's
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah.
If you don't stay on your toes, he'll get 3 steps ahead of you, and then you're playing catch up all day.
Yeah, I know. I can see that. Might better have him like Captain Secco.
Yeah,
Oh boy,
yeah.
you know. See, RJ never learned to walk.
He started running.
As soon as he got both feet on the ground, he found out what they was for. He's running.
That's the way
wide
Josh
open.
was.
Oh man.
I think he started. He figured out how to put one foot in front of the other about 10 months, and he hasn't slowed down yet.
Yep. RJ we'd put him in a 6-year bed,
Mm-hmm.
and he found out, this is before he could walk,
Okay.
you know, alone. And he'd get a hold of that bed and give her, he shook the bolts right out of him. I was repairing that bed, putting new screws, new bolts. But what he'd do, he'd shake it away from the wall about that far. And then he found out he could get over the back and then he'd lean against the wall.
He'd shimmy on down.
And down he'd go. He'd slide right down them rails, man. And as soon as he hit the floor, boy, he's on the way. Yeah, he was a live wire. Yeah.
Now you've always lived. This is the same house. You
Bought
guys,
this house and that's it.
you
Right.
bought it. What? Because I've seen a picture of you two
54.
when you looked real young in that picture. You stand in front of the house. Smiling.
Yeah. Yeah, 54 years old. I was 21 when I signed the papers.
1954.
Yeah.
Now, where did you guys live before that?
Apartments.
Okay.
Here and there.
Yeah. My mom said she remembers you digging out the basement.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
that new part underneath the kitchen.
Well,
Well,
that
this
too, right here.
Yeah. That was our side yard right there.
Oh, so the house used to stop right here.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
This house was only 20 by 24
Huh.
when I bought it. And that was a breezeway on the back.
Where the kitchen is now.
Yeah.
So this was a lot smaller.
And I dug that out and made a basement under it, put the washroom
That
in
door
there.
wasn't there. There's a door here. In
Only
the
had
living room.
one bathroom, was right down in here somewhere in this hall.
Huh.
Wasn't very big.
No.
Something that'll boggle your mind. Of course, you don't pay property tax, but
No, not right now.
the first property tax I got on this place was $34 for 1 year. 1 year.
Oh man.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, and see, our rent right now is $5.50 a month,
Uh-huh.
and our landlord said that just barely covers the taxes for the year.
I don't doubt it. Yep.
Because when we've got a lease through May, I think, and they're either thinking about they're thinking about selling the house when our lease is up, and I'm going to tell them, hey, raise the rent. We'd rather live here, and not have to go find someplace else to move until we get our savings built back up and we can go find a house.
Yeah, true. That's very true.
I mean, we're already sitting there. It's even if they bump it up to 700, that's still, for the amount of room we got, that's a lot better than most apartments we're going to find.
See, Aunt Jenny and them pays $600 a
Mhm.
month.
Oh yeah.
Too bad
And
you
it's
can't talk to him and have him give an option to buy in there and your rent go on that.
He suggested that to us, but there's some stuff wrong with that house. The thing that worries me is that garage is probably going to come down 5-10 years from now.
But
It's
that way
it's settled.
Your rent ain't all going down the hole.
Yeah, I know.
That's the only thing.
We did think about it, but there's enough things that have been let go on that house.
Yeah.
You'd have to put a lot of money into it
Yeah.
to get it. Because that's the biggest thing is, like I said, that outer wall of the garage is settled. You can stand and look at it, and you can see it's leaning in the back, and it's dropped probably a good 5 or 6 inches in the back corner. You pull
Footings are given out, or
I think
what?
so. And you pull into the garage. If you were to put a plank from one side of the garage to the other, the middle's probably about 8 inches low.
Ooh, it's settled.
Oh, a lot.
What do you want to do when you become a nurse?
Mm-hmm.
Work right there in Grand Rapids?
I would like to, yeah. I think if I could find a job at like St. Mary's or Metro, that would probably be what I would like the most. Obviously, there's Spectrum there too. But, if I can find some place where we can stay right in Grand Rapids, that'd be the best, I think. If not there, we can come down towards Borges or Blodgett. Or not Blodgett. Borges, what's the other one down? Bronson. I knew it was a B.
Mm-hmm.
Or
they own half our hospital now.
who? Spectrum?
No,
Bronson
Bronson.
owns ours.
They bought controlling interest in this hospital over here,
What's the hospital over here?
Bell Creek Health Systems.
Oh, okay.
Called Bronson Battle Creek now.
Yeah, B&B now.
And old Bob, my brother, just sent me this. U of M have added a kids, or got a kids thing.
And that's
and stuff.
U of M's where Jesse was
Yeah.
with all of his
And
heart
they've
stuff.
done a lot of
Yep.
extras on that.
Have you been in that DeVos hospital downtown?
No.
That is something else.
Is
We were there with Bella. They have a.
I keep sending Andy stuff about children's hospitals closer.
I think he likes it too much in Seattle.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, we went to their, because they've got a pediatric oncology and hematology floor, and there was some weird stuff popped up in one of Bella's blood tests, so we took her down there, and they ended up doing like a bone marrow biopsy on her. But they said everything's normal. It's just her red blood cells are a little bigger than they're supposed to be.
Oh.
That's strange.
What's that?
That's strange, ain't it?
The more they dug into it, they think it's hereditary because they got blood test results from Becca and I, And Becca's red blood cells are a little bigger than they're supposed to be.
She got that on her mother's side.
Mhm.
Okay.
But it's something that never popped up because Becca's are just within what's considered normal.
Okay.
They're on the big side of normal, and Isabella's are just over the line on what's considered normal. So, but
That's one thing I can't figure out how heavy that little girl is.
Solid.
she's
I've
a chunk.
never ever seen a little kid that heavy.
She's solid.
She just like a piece
She's
of lead.
solid,
You pick her
huh?
off, but she don't look it.
Uh-uh.
She don't look at it.
No.
That boy, she sure is.
I'll tell you what, though, you get wrestling with her, and she jumps right in there. She's not bashful about that at all. In fact, I'll lay down on the floor sometimes just to stretch out. She'll come tackle me. She's a tease, though. She's really something else. Josh is real lively, but she's quiet.
Yeah.
You know, and she'll watch. But
Sneaky thing.
Oh, she is quite the tease.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, let's see here. What do you think it was like for you? Maybe you won't have any big ideas about it, but what was it like for you to turn 30 or 40?
You know, that's something never bothered me.
Yeah.
Age.
Just starting to hit me now.
The way I always figured, I don't care how old I was, if I felt good.
Nah, that's true.
You know, it don't mean age means nothing.
Hmm.
You know, not really. It's like gray hair. Some people get all bent out of shape when their hair gets gray. Bother me none.
Like
Yeah.
your mom.
Don't bother me one little bit.
If I have as much hair as you do, when I'm your age, I'll be happy.
I mean, I got as much
Yeah.
hair as I ever had. I keep it cut off
You
pretty
take
good,
after
but
your dad's side, you won't.
Jesse is. He's
Oh.
already starting to thin
Really?
out there. I'm like, oh no. So we'll see. But some of that might have to do with him being diabetic, though,
Yeah.
too.
could be. Could be.
Yeah, I was telling, I forget who, one of the girls in my class was talking about you're supposed to inherit hair from your mom's dad. And I said, well, if that's the case for me, I'm in good shape.
Yeah, really.
That's what
Well, hey, my
someone
grandpa,
else said.
well, my brother's got all his hair, and my
Mhm.
grandpa, I remember, he had all his hair, you know, on the Mullenix side,
Mm-hmm.
mother's side. Of course, the other one had hair too, but I never seen him.
Yeah.
He had a beard. He looked like an old order.
You never grew a beard,
Yeah,
did you?
once
Did you?
or twice.
'Cause I've seen pictures of you with the mustache.
Yeah. I had, when I first been out of the packing room, I never did have a beard because you had to wear a face mask, and I didn't want that.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as I got out of there, I had a beard all one winter. It was about that long.
Not that long.
Pretty long.
So what do you think, what's changed for you as you've gotten older? What kind of changes have you noticed? As far as how you view life or how things that you like doing now that you didn't before? Or the other way around, things you don't like doing anymore?
I don't know. I probably, if I had it to do all over again, I'd probably never bought this little house. I'd have probably went out and bought one a little better,
Okay.
you know.
In the country more.
But I didn't want to go in debt, you know, any
Right.
more than I had to. I didn't feel comfortable.
Did you get a mortgage to get this house?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How much did this house go for when you bought it?
7,000.
$7,000. Okay.
Yeah. And after I made down payment on it, my house payment was $57 a month.
Okay.
That's 1% of the balance.
Hmm.
And
But we go to this old man's house to make our monthly payments.
but that's one thing that really shocked me though. The first house payment I made, half of it went on the interest and half of it went on the principal, and that I did not like that.
Yeah.
But we had this thing paid for in 1960.
So you paid it off pretty quick.
Yeah, I haven't made a house payment in many years, which is good. Really.
Yeah, it's been because that money
We
can
ain't
go
got
somewhere
nothing, but
else.
it's paid for, you know.
Yeah. Well, I looked. I got curious one time and I looked at some of the numbers. If on a 30-year mortgage, if someone were to do double payments every month, they'd end up spending, I want to say it was like on a $125,000 home.
Okay.
If they paid the full mortgage, it's about $500,000 that they end up putting out. But if they pay double payments on it, I think they end up spending about $200,000, and it's paid off in 7 years. It's shocking how much interest there is.
I found that up in the attic.
You and RJ.
When RJ and I was working on that bedroom. We used to store boxes upstairs in the attic.
This is your last payment on the house?
No, that was a down payment.
Oh, down payment. Okay.
I think.
Balance. Let's see, $1,200. Balance of amount on property located at 49 Smith, South 26th Street, Battle Creek, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Your mom and dad were divorced when you were 10 years old.
Yeah, I just barely remember that.
And Jenny did. Your mother's got these.
Yeah.
Jenny did those.
Okay.
But she put something in here that belongs on my side, and I can't figure out how to. Don't matter, I guess.
That's a lot of money back then, you know that?
Yeah, it was. Because what did you make a year at that point?
But you start out $1 something an hour.
Oh yeah, your mom's
6
got.
hours.
Your mom's got that stuff.
Probably.
No, didn't Betty take that stuff
I don't think so.
that I got from?
So if you worked 40 hours a week, you'd make $40 and change.
Yeah, well, when I was there about 2 years, 2-3 years,
Mm-hmm.
I got a bonus job,
Okay.
and we were stripping cartons, printed cartons, and we was making, when we made rate, we made $3.65 an hour.
Wow.
And buddy, that was good money.
Yeah.
And our boss was the assistant supervisor in that department, and he told us guys, he said, you guys are making more money than I am. And he was bigger than just a regular boss.
Right.
It's either RJ or Donnie's birth certificate. It says father's occupation. It says stripper.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Ain't that something?
Never knew I was related to a stripper.
Yeah. But boy, we made good money. We were working 6 hours a day, and we could make our rate in 3 hours. Easy. Easy. I used to work over. The boss, that guy'd come around and ask us if we wanted to work another shift.
Mm-hmm.
Work from 12 in the morning or 6 in the morning to 6 at night.
Yep.
And the place where we worked was quite confining when they put an extra 2-3 guys in there working.
Right.
So Charlie and we'd work like mad the first shift, and the second one we was all done. We just stay out of the way and make good money, boy. They do it, but you know, they happy.
You were there doing something.
Yeah, we was there. We punched the clock and got our work done. So, yeah. What's that stuff?
I just said it's what Jenny did. This is the
Oh.
Mullenix family tree, and there's
Oh, okay.
Carlson.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
So what would you say, you grew up going to church.
Uh-huh.
You say that's been important to you all your life?
Yeah. Yeah.
he went to the Church of the Brethren, which is kind of a Amish or something.
Well, that's one jump off the Amish.
Okay.
Mennonites are in there somewhere in
Mhm.
in that. But I think the Church of the Brethren, I think that's the first step away from the Amish. They still wash feet.
Okay. The first car I bought it off Amish or a Mennonite guy
Okay.
down in Goshen.
All right.
Good car.
I probably told you about that time I went to communion, didn't I?
Mm.
Well, that's something else.
You just went out to the farmhand. And said,
Yeah. I had a cousin.
They should have told him.
I had a cousin he's a cutter like I was, maybe more so.
Okay.
But we managed to get into all kinds of bad problems, But when the brothers, if you're not a member of the church, you don't do communion. Okay. So down in the basement, they always had they had a good supper. They done this twice a year. And on the south wall, they had a pew. Mm-hmm. And that people that came to church, like us, that weren't members, we could eat with them, and then we had to sit over there when they done communion. Well, nobody told me what was going on. And pretty soon after supper, the women and the men moved around, and all the women was over here, and all the men was over here, and they started taking off their socks and washing feet, And I looked at Larry, and man, we started laughing. Oh, buddy, my uncle was dead. But it got to the point where we didn't even dare look at one another. You know how that works.
Yeah,
boy, it gets worse instead of better. And boy, my uncle wanted to kill us, and that was something else.
I remember, I think it was Ethan, when you guys were in that little church out where you used to live.
Oh, North Park?
No,
it was that
near the
big
house,
church.
Oh, Calvary. My parents went to Calvary
When
for a
you
little
was
while.
over there in Plainfield.
Yeah, well, we went to...
it was big, a little church.
It was right there.
We went to a church, we went to Calvary for a little while, and I don't really remember that. And then when we lived on Canright, we went to that little Baptist church there, North Park Baptist.
Anyway, we were all sitting in the back, and the preacher was preaching, and praying, yeah, praying. And I think it's Ethan kept saying, "Amen, amen."
Well, they had a Christmas program.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know how old he was, but that preacher, boy, he was praying like you ain't gonna believe. And Ethan